Hi guys, I'm live. This is Hump Day lesson day. It's just in time because it's almost not Wednesday. It's just in time. In time wise, it's also barely happened because I barely thought of something to teach. If I don't mean it or feel it, I can't. Then I just don't do it. So I came close to not doing this, but I thought of a topic in time. So I have a topic. I'd like to do Hump Day lesson day. A guitar lesson for today. Okay. First of all, I want to say what the topic is. The topic is key signatures and the circle of fifths, as it applies to scales. Okay, how's that? Let's go over this. For C major scale, you have no sharps and no flats. That's this. Okay, that's no sharps, no flats. If I go up a fifth, I have one sharp. That would be G major. And up 2 fifths, which is another fifth above G major, is D major, which is 2 sharps. So D major is up a whole step from C major and has 2 sharps. So what do you do when you have a D flat major? Well, in D flat major, every note in D major is flatted. That means it has 7 more flats than D major, but D major has 2 sharps. So 2 sharps minus 7 flats is 5 flats. So D flat major has 5 flats. What's interesting about that is that D flat major, which has 5 flats, is also C sharp major. And since C sharp has every note of C sharped, and C has no sharps and flats, C sharp major is 7 sharps. So that's C sharp major is 7 sharps. D flat major is the same scale but has 5 flats. But it's called D flat major. So and whenever you have two different sharps and flats for the same key, the total sum is always 12. So C sharp is 7 sharps, D flat is 5 flats, and 7 and 5 make 12, which means you did it right because you go all the way around one way 7 times and the other way 5 times, or 5 times the other way, 7 times the other way. But either way, you made a whole circle of 12, and the total number is 12. For inharmonic keys, they call it inharmonic keys. So let's keep going. So like I said, C has no sharps, no flats. D had 2 sharps. Up a fifth from there. A has 3 sharps. And again, up a fifth from there, E major has 4 sharps. Now, the interesting thing about E major is that E flat major is every note in E major flatted. And since E major has 4 sharps, 7 flats minus that makes 3 flats. So E flat major has 3 flats. So there's that. Next, E, we said E major has 4 sharps. F major is just a fourth above C major. And since C major has no sharps and flats, and F is a fourth above that, F has 1 flat. But F sharp is every note in F sharp, and since F has 1 flat plus 7 sharps is 6 sharps. So F sharp has 6 sharps. But then again, G, we said, has 1 sharp. But G flat is every note in G flatted. So 1 sharp minus 7 flats is G flat has 6 flats. But G flat is also F sharp, which has 6 sharps, and 6 and 6 make 12, so our rule of inharmonic keys is satisfied. So F sharp is has 6 sharps, G flat has 6 flats, and that's a tritone away from C, which has no sharps and no flats. Next we have G, which, like we said before, has 1 sharp. Up a fifth from there. D, we said, had 2 sharps. And then up a fifth from there is A has 3 sharps. But A flat is every note in A flatted, and since A has 3 sharps, A flat has 3 sharps minus 7 flats, which is 4 flats, so A flat has 4 flats. A has 3 sharps, like we said. Up a fifth from A is E again, which has 4 sharps. Up a fifth from E is B, which has 5 sharps. But every note in B flat is flatted when you have B flat. And since B has 5 sharps, B flat has 5 sharps minus 7 flats, which is 2 flats. So B flat has 2 flats. B has 5 sharps, like we said. And C is no sharps, no flats. I did all that right with one omission. When I did B has 5 sharps, B is also C flat because and C has no sharps, no flats, so C flat would have 7 flats. So C flat has 7 flats, but that's the same key as B, which has 5 sharps, and 7 and 5 make 12, so our rule of inharmonic keys is satisfied. So that's all 15 keys technically, because you have 7 sharps keys, that makes 7, 7 flat keys, that also makes 7. Plus you have C, which has no sharps and flats, so 7 and 7 is 14, and 1 is 5. 14 and 1 is 15. So you actually have 15 different key signatures. It's just that 3 of them have multiplicities. 3 of them have inharmonic spellings. Those would be in major keys. F sharp, which is 6 sharps, is the same as G flat, which has 6 flats. So that's 2 keys, but it's the same note. Then C sharp has 7 sharps, but D flat has 5 flats. So that's the same note, but that's 2 different key signatures. C flat has 7 flats, but B has 5 sharps, and 7 and 5 make 12, and that's the same note, but 2 key signatures. So since you have 12 literal notes, 3 of them are doubles. 12 and 3 make 15, and that's how many keys you have if you have 7 sharps, 7 flats, and no keys, and plus the key that has no sharps or flats. So I did every major key with key signatures. Let's do minor keys. Do we have to? Well, it's all relative. It's all the same. Not logic is that, but I'll go over it. And plus, it's different because you have altered scales in minors. You have raised sevenths to make a natural minor into a harmonic minor scale, and you have a raised sixth and raised seventh to make a melodic minor scale out of your natural minor scale. I don't like the melodic minor scale that much. I don't like the harmonic major scale that much, but I like the major scale and I like the harmonic minor scale. So let's do the harmonic minor scale starting on A. A has no sharps and no flats, but it has a G sharp because it's a harmonic minor scale. So that technically is A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, A. Then again, if you go up a fifth, you have E minor, which has 1 sharp, plus a D sharp, because that's a sharp 7. Then again, B major is B minor is another fifth above that, which has 2 sharps, but it also has an A sharp, make it a B harmonic minor scale. But since B flat is every note in a B minor, B flat minor is every note in a B flat minor flatted, and B flat minor has 2 sharps, so B minor has 2 sharps, so B flat minor would have 2 sharps minus 7 flats, which is 5 flats. Again, B has 2 sharps. B minor has 2 sharps. C minor, I won't do that yet. Then again, F sharp is a fifth above B has 3 sharps, plus an E sharp to make it harmonic minor. And then a fifth above F sharp is C sharp, which has 4 sharps, plus a B sharp to make it a C sharp harmonic minor scale. But then if C sharp has 4 sharps, C flat would have 7 flats more. Every note in C sharp would be flatted, and since C sharp has 4 sharps, 4 sharps minus 7 flats is 3 flats. So C flat minor has 3 flats. But it also has a B natural, which makes it a C harmonic minor scale. Then from C up a fifth. Well, let's go back to C. Let's see, what should we do? No, let's go back to C sharp. C sharp, we said, had 4 sharps. C sharp minor. A fifth above C sharp minor is G sharp minor, which has 5 sharps plus an F plus an F double sharp to make it a G sharp harmonic minor scale. The F double sharp is actually a G, but it's F double sharp, not G, because it's G sharp. So it's spelled G sharp, A sharp, D, C sharp, D sharp, E, F double sharp, G sharp. So G sharp minor has 5 sharps, and then let's see, a fifth of well, let's just hold on to that thought, because right now I had said that C sharp minor has 4 sharps. D minor is just a fourth above A minor, and A minor has no sharps and flats. So D minor has 1 flat, except it has a C sharp to make it a D minor, D harmonic minor scale. Okay, and then how should I do this? Let's see. If G minor has 1 flat, D sharp minor has every note in D minor sharped. But since D minor has 1 flat, D sharp minor has 1 flat plus 7 sharps, which is 6 sharps. But it also has a C double sharp to make it a D sharp harmonic minor scale. Okay, but we said that E harmonic minor has 1 sharp, but it also has a D sharp to make it a D harmonic minor scale. But E flat minor would have every note of E minor flatted, and since E minor has 1 sharp minus 7 flats is 6 flats, so E flat minor has 6 flats, but it also has a D natural to make it an E flat harmonic minor scale. So there we have it again, where D sharp harmonic minor has 6 sharps, E flat harmonic minor has 6 flats, and 6 and 6 make 12, which satisfies the rule for inharmonic keys. And both of those are a tritone away from A minor, which has no sharps and no flats. Then again, we were at E harmonic minor, which has 1 sharp, except the D sharp to make it an E harmonic minor scale. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So yeah, we're on E. How should I do this now? Let's E. That's E. E has one, E minor has one sharp. Okay, I'm gonna go back to A harmonic minor, and I'm gonna say that G harmonic minor has one flat, except it also has C sharp, make it a D harmonic minor scale. Up, down a fifth from the D minor makes G minor. G minor has two flats, except it has an F sharp to make it a G harmonic minor scale. But we see that G sharp harmonic minor would have every note of G minor sharped. But since G minor has two flats plus 7 sharps is 5 sharps. So G sharp harmonic minor has 5 sharps, except it has an F double sharp to make it a G sharp harmonic minor scale. But G sharp harmonic minor scale is also a flat harmonic minor scale. A has no sharps and flats, so A flat would have 7 flats, except it would have a G natural to make it an A flat harmonic minor scale. But since G sharp harmonic minor, since G sharp minor has 5 sharps and A flat minor has 7 flats, 5 and 7 make 12, and it satisfies the rule for harmonic keys. And then we said that G harmonic minor has two flats, except it has an F sharp to make it G harmonic minor scale. And then up a fourth from there, or down a fifth, or up a fourth from G minor makes C minor, which has 3 flats, except it has a B natural to make it C harmonic minor scale. And from the C go another fifth to F. And since F has one more flat than C, F minor has one more flat than C minor, so F minor has 4 flats, except it has an E natural to make it F harmonic minor scale. Since F minor has 4 flats, F sharp minor has every note in F sharp. Since F minor has 4 flats, F sharp minor would have 4 flats plus 7 sharps, which is 3 sharps. Except that F sharp minor would have an E sharp to make it F sharp harmonic minor scale, but F sharp minor would have 3 sharps other than that. So F sharp harmonic minor, 3 sharps, except it has E sharp to make it F sharp harmonic minor scale. And then, like I said, we have F minor, which has 4 flats, except it has an E natural to make it F harmonic minor scale. Now I'm going to move up to here. Since I was already in F, I already did E minor has 1 sharp, except it has D sharp, make it E harmonic minor scale. F minor has 4 flats, except it has an E natural to make it F harmonic minor scale. And I've now covered the whole chromatic scale of all the keys, all the minor keys. Let me see if I left out anything important though. I did leave out one. No, I didn't. I think I did everything. But just to make sure I did, there's 15 minor keys because there's 7 sharps, 7 flats, and a natural key of A. But there's only 12 notes. 3 of them are doubles. So, and they're called inharmonic keys. So in A, the 3 enharmonics, one of them is D sharp minor, or E flat minor. D sharp minor has 6 sharps, E flat minor has 6 flats. 6 and 6 make 12. Our rule is satisfied for 12, for a total of 12 sharps and flats for harmonic keys. Then again, back to A harmonic minor. A sharp harmonic minor has 7 sharps, except it has a G double sharp to make it A sharp harmonic minor scale. The B flat harmonic minor scale is the same as A sharp minor scale. And since B harmonic minor scale has 2 sharps, and B flat minor scale has every note in B minor flatted, 2 sharps minus 7 flats make 5 flats. So B flat harmonic minor scale has 5 flats, except it has A natural to make it B flat harmonic minor scale. And since 5 flats and 7 sharps, since B flat minor has 5 flats and A sharp minor has 7 sharps, 7 and 5 make 12, and we satisfy the rule for 8 harmonic keys. The last one, G minor has 2 flats, except it has an F sharp to make it G harmonic minor scale, but G sharp minor has every note of a G minor sharp. Since G minor has 2 flats plus 7 sharps makes 5 sharps. So the key of G sharp minor has 5 sharps, except that it has an F double sharp to make it a G sharp harmonic minor scale. But A, that's the same note as A flat harmonic minor scale. But since A has no sharps and flat, A minor has no sharps and flats, A flat minor has, A harmonic minor has no sharps and flats except the G sharp, which makes it an A harmonic minor scale. But since every note in an A minor scale is flatted in A flat harmonic minor in A flat minor scale, A flat minor scale has 7 flats, except the G natural to make it A flat harmonic minor scale. And therefore, G sharp minor has 5 sharps, A flat minor has 7 flats, and 7 and 5 make 12, and so a rule for harmonic keys is satisfying, except for the sevenths have to be sharp in all cases to make it harmonic minor scale. So I did every single 12 major keys and every single 12 minor keys, and I did it a simple way where I used the circle of fifths combined with common sense, combined with knowing math and knowing that when you sharp something or flat something, and when you sharp a key, you're sharping every note in that. So if C major is no sharps and flats, C sharp major 7 sharps, and C flat major 7 flats. It's just real simple. And then you do the math and add between the sharps and flats and do all this stuff, and you know what you're doing. And on top of that, it's good to know your notes on the neck. It's good to know, like, that's an F. So is that. So is that. So is that. So is that. Ooh, close one. So is that. 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 You know, so wherever you are, you can go, here's an F. You can't do that if you don't know where your notes are. And though I don't really espouse a sitting down and driving yourself crazy to know it, but I do suggest a simple modal method of doing each string linearly as a mode, and then knowing where those notes are, and then in betweens are just sharps and flats. E is a Phrygian, so the Phrygian pattern is half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole, and that's just E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. There you have it, and then just all the sharps and flats in between. B is a Locrian, so you have half, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 but that's B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. There you have it. G is Mixolydian, and that's whole, whole, half, whole, half, whole, but that's G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Did it. D is Dorian, and that's just whole, half, whole, half, whole, but that's D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. A is Aeolian, but that's whole, half, whole, half, whole, and that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Again, E is just a freebie because we already learned it on the high E string. It's the same thing. It's E is Phrygian again, and that's half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole. But that's E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And this octave is the same. Strings, there's only really five different strings that are different. And there's only 12 notes that are different because the next high 12 are the same, about an octave higher. So 12 times 5 is you only really have to know 60 notes, and you know everything. If I know 5 times 12, think of a clock. There's 60 minutes in an hour, but there's actually 12 numbers, but there's 5 minutes per number, so there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour. If you could think of 60 things, you know every note on the guitar forever. It's not that hard. We know time, we know how to count from 1 to 60. Just think of that as the notes. Whatever way works for you, but know that this is a C. 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 You really should know that. You don't have to think of all the notes you're playing when you're doing a run, but you need to know where you are anywhere on the neck so you don't get lost. This is an A. 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 I ended on an A at least. I didn't just play an A, but I ended on an A note. So that's important. Some of the tricks I just told you about key signatures are my own original thoughts. I didn't create the material. I'm just using music everybody knows, but the methods I think of were some of my own thoughts. I'm not going to call it Jimmie's ideas or anything, but they were thoughts that I thought of and I shared with you, so I hope you enjoyed them and hope that's cool. Anything else? While we're here, key signatures and learning your notes, I hate to say this, but it's one of the most boring things about guitar and music because it's all math. It's not exciting, it's not fun, it's not thrilling, but it's important to know. Because at the end of the day, you have to know something. You don't just want to be able to wiggle your fingers and not know where they're going and just hope you just happen to land on the right notes. It doesn't work that way all the time. Maybe sometimes, and maybe part of the time. To some extent, some of the time, but not to all extents, not to the fullest extent every time. So knowledge is important too. Do I have anything else that I wanted to mention? That saved the day for Humpday lesson day because I didn't know what I wanted to teach, but when I thought about the key signature thing, I thought it was worth teaching and important. Know your circle of fifths. Know that I'll go just a hair more on this subject. It also works for pentatonics in the circle of fifths, except here's the trick. In pentatonic scales, when you go clockwise around the circle of fifths, you actually go in the sharp direction. In the flat direction, the opposite. So if I have D minor pentatonic, and I go up a fifth to D A minor pentatonic, I just went down a note. A note just went down because it turns out that if I'm in G minor pentatonic, in the A pattern, I play this. But that has a sharp in it. So to play A minor pentatonic, I have to flat that note. But yet A is a fifth above D. So when I go clockwise up the circle of fifths in pentatonics, that's the flat direction. Because when I went from G minor pentatonic to A minor pentatonic, I had to flatten one of the notes, believe it or not. And then if you go up a fourth, you sharp a note because let's see that. G minor pentatonic. If I go up to G, which is up a fourth, I would play, but that has a flat in it. So to go to G minor pentatonic, I have to sharp a note. But yet that's a fourth above D minor pentatonic. So when you start with the D minor pentatonic, if I go up a fourth, that sharps it. That's sharp one note. If I go up a fifth, that flattens a note. works if I do all three. I get a pentatonic plus a sharp plus a flat, which makes paradoxically a D Aeolian mode, or it could make a G Dorian mode, or you can think of it as an A Phrygian mode. Either way, it's all the notes of a C major scale. Okay, sorry, but all that is true. Because a D minor pentatonic plus a G minor pentatonic plus an A minor pentatonic makes a C major scale. It just works that way. But the fifths and fourths work in the opposite direction. Another thing that's cool about pentatonics that I think is kind of cool is that not only do the fourths and fifths go the opposite direction, but major and minor are kind of inverted. Have you ever noticed how in diatonic scales we always talk about the major scale? But in minor pentatonics, we always talk about the minor pentatonic, not the major pentatonic. Why is that? Well, it's partly because the minor pentatonic is the sharper of the two. The minor pentatonic has 3 sharps more than the major pentatonic. It sounds reversed, but it just works that way. An E major pentatonic is this. But E minor pentatonic has 3 sharps from that. So a minor pentatonic has 3 sharps more than a major pentatonic. It just is that way. Go figure, right? It works though. An E major pentatonic has this. If you sharp 3 of the notes, you get an E minor pentatonic scale. So even though minor, it has the name minor in it, the minor pentatonic is the sharper of between the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. Just like in the A major, the C major scale has 3 more sharps than a C natural minor scale, and the A natural minor scale has 3 more flats than an A major scale. But an E major pentatonic has 3 more flats than an E minor pentatonic, and an E minor pentatonic has 3 more sharps than an E major pentatonic. So we seem to like sharps in Western music, and since minor pentatonic has 3 notes sharped more than the major pentatonic, we usually settle with the minor pentatonic as our focus, not the major pentatonic, because we want that note to be sharped. It just works that way. Figure it out if you want to. But if you don't, that's cool too. But if you do, work it out, it works. Interestingly enough, if you take a major and minor at the same time, so if you take an E major pentatonic and an E minor pentatonic, which has 3 sharps from that, guess what you get? Well, since you start with a 5-note scale and sharp 3 notes or flat 3 notes, in the case of the minor pentatonic, in the case of the major pentatonic, you take 5 notes and sharp 3, that makes 8 notes. And if you take the 5 notes of the minor pentatonic and flat 3, that also gives you 8 notes. What do you get when you get 8 notes? Well, you get more than 7 notes, because 7 notes implies 1 mode. But if 7 notes implies 1 mode, 8 notes implies 2 modes. And what are the 2 modes? Well, Mixolydian and Dorian. So if you take an E minor pentatonic scale and an E major pentatonic scale, add the notes together, you get 8 notes, and those 8 notes are E Mixolydian and E Dorian, sometimes called E Mixodorian, meaning you can play the major third or the minor third. You can take a Dorian and add the major third and make it Mixolydian, or you can take the Mixolydian and add the minor third and make it Dorian. Either way, you get the notes of Dorian and the notes of Mixolydian on the same root. Sometimes called Mixodorian. It's basically an 8-note scale that has a major third and a minor third. Major third, major second, root, minor 7th, major 6th, 5th, perfect 4th, major third, minor third, major second, root. It doesn't sound very good like that, but those are all the notes. But you hear it all the time. In Satriani, you'll always go. All you gotta do is add a blues note, flat 5 to that, you get 9 notes. That adds the blues scale plus a major third, which is a Dorian, Mixodorian blues scale. Mixodorian plus a flat 5 could be called Mixodorian blues. Dorian blues could be Dorian plus a flat 5. Mixodorian blues is actually sometimes called the composite blues scale. It's every note you can use in blues, which is 9 notes. It's every note except the the minor second, the major seventh, and the minor sixth. It doesn't have a minor sixth, and it doesn't have a major seventh, and it doesn't have a flat nine, or they call it a raised root, but I call it a flat nine. Those are the only three notes you don't play. You can't play in blues. And even then, what the heck, play them anyway, but they don't sound good. A major seventh sounds real bad, a minor second sounds pretty bad, and a minor sixth sounds kind of awful. But the other nine notes all work in blues, and it could be called a Mixodorian blues scale or a composite blues scale. It's it's the root, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, flat five, perfect fifth, major sixth, minor seventh, root. All I left out was the flat nine, the flat six, and the major seventh. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.